Have you ever stopped to wonder why we even have societies? I mean, why do we build cities and work together and trade with total strangers instead of just fighting over every last resource? Well, we're going to dive into a really powerful idea about the surprisingly rational reason we choose to be partners instead of just rivals. Okay, so let's get right to the heart of it with this core puzzle. The economist Ludwig von Mises asked this really fundamental question. In a world where there isn't enough of everything to go around, why aren't we just locked in a constant, brutal fight for survival against each other? And the answer? Well, it might surprise you. It has less to do with warm, fuzzy feelings than you'd probably think.
You know, the foundation of the answer is actually in a really simple comparison. On one side, you've got isolated work. Just picture it, trying to grow all your own food, build your own house, make your own clothes, by yourself. I mean, talk about a constant struggle, right? But on the other side, you have cooperative work, where people specialize in one thing and then trade with each other. The difference in what gets produced is just staggering.
So, how do we get from that world of constant struggle to a world of cooperation? Well, Mises argued that it's not built on things like hope or kindness. It's built on a purely rational foundation. And that foundation rests on just two incredibly simple, observable pillars. Yep, that's it. Just two. We're not talking about some complex moral philosophy or a set of ancient rules. We're talking about two simple facts that you can see for yourself, right now, out in the world. And according to Mises, these two facts are the very bedrock of civilization itself. So let's take a look at the first one. All right, pillar number one is super straightforward. It's just a basic fact about the physical world. When we split up tasks and each person specializes, we just produce more stuff. More food, more shelter, more of literally everything. It is just a flat-out more efficient way to get things done. And then there's pillar number two. And this one's all about us. It's the simple fact that we are smart enough to look at the world and recognize that first pillar. Our brains can figure out that working together is way better for our own self-interest than trying to go it alone. Okay, now this is where the idea gets really interesting because it kind of flips a common assumption right on its head. Mises isn't saying we're all heartless robots. He loved the idea of friendship and community, but he argued that those feelings are the result of a working society, not the cause. See, first we cooperate because it's useful, it's rational, and then out of that useful relationship, feelings of kinship and sympathy have a chance to grow. So we cooperate because it's useful, and that utility then builds community. But what makes it so useful? Why exactly is splitting up the work so much more productive? Let's break down the actual mechanics that make specialization so incredibly powerful. For starters, it's just plain more efficient. Think about kids cleaning up the dinner table. If one kid scraps the plates, another one washes, and a third one dries, they're going to finish way, way faster than if each kid tried to do all three steps for every single dish. It's just less time wasted switching tasks. Specializing also makes it easier to invent tools and machines for those simple, repetitive jobs. And of course, you get economies of scale, because making coffee for 4 people definitely doesn't take 4 times as long as making it for just one. But that's just the mechanical stuff. The real magic happens when you factor in what makes us human. I mean, some jobs are just impossible to do alone, right? Like lifting something super heavy. But even more importantly, we're all different. We're born with different natural talents, and then over time, we practice and train and we develop new skills. Specialization lets us tap into this amazing diversity of talent and experience, and that just magnifies the benefits for every single person involved. Okay, so this brings us to what is, I'm not kidding, maybe the most powerful and, honestly, the most counterintuitive idea in all of economics. It's called the law of comparative advantage. And to really get it, let's just look at a simple story. So meet Marcia. She owns a store. And this is John, who she's thinking about hiring. Now, let's be clear, Marcia is a superstar. She is better at everything. She's twice as fast as John at tidying up the store, and an incredible 8 times faster at talking to a customer and making a sale. So, here's the dilemma. Common sense might just scream, well, since Marcia is better at both things, she should just do it all herself, right? Why would you ever hire someone who's slower than you at everything? But this is where we have to stop and use our reason. We got to think about something called opportunity cost. See, if Marcia spends 30 minutes cleaning, that's 30 minutes she can't spend selling. And if she makes, say, $40 in profit from sales in that time, then cleaning the store actually costs her $40 in lost income.
Now, what if she could pay John just $15 to do the cleaning, even if it takes him a whole hour? And there it is, the beautiful, incredible win-win. Marcia pays John $15, but she makes an extra $40 in sales during that time, so she comes out $25 richer, and John gets paid for his work. See, even though Marcia has an absolute advantage in everything, John has a comparative advantage in cleaning. It's more rational for both of them if Marcia focuses only on the task where her advantage is the greatest, selling.
And folks, that is comparative advantage in a nutshell. It's not about who's the absolute best at something. Nope. It's all about who gives up the least to get a job done. And this one single principle explains why even the most productive people and the most productive countries benefit from trading with others. Okay, so that's a cool little story about one store. But let's zoom way out. How does this one simple idea playing out between two people scale up to build, well, everything, to build our entire civilization? Well, Mises saw that this kind of cooperation can be organized in one of two basic ways. On the one hand, you have cooperation by contract. That's a voluntary relationship, like between Marcia and John, where they freely agree to work together because they both benefit. On the other hand, you have cooperation by command, a hegemonic relationship, where a ruler forces people to work through subordination. Now look, both of these are technically forms of social organization, but Mises was really clear on this point. The mind-blowing productivity, the innovation, the wealth of a modern market economy, that stuff can only be truly unleashed in a society based on voluntary contracts. Freedom is the key that unlocks the full power of the division of labor. And this idea, it just completely demolishes the whole social Darwinist argument, that survival of the fittest, dog-eat-dog worldview. Mises flips that right on its head. He says, no, our reason shows us something completely different. It shows us that cooperation is our most powerful tool for survival and for making our lives better. So what's the big takeaway here? It means that society, far from being some kind of unnatural cage that restricts us, is actually humanity's greatest invention. Our ability to cooperate with each other through specialization isn't just some nice little feature of human life. It's our number one tool in the struggle for survival. It's our best shot at overcoming the challenges of nature and improving life for everyone. And that leaves us with one final thought to chew on. If cooperation is really a rational choice based on our ability to clearly see its benefits, what are the biggest threats to our ability to recognize that today? What forces, what ideas, what incentives might be blurring our vision, pushing us towards conflict instead of the very cooperation that has built everything we value?